Hey guys, Aaron Wilson back at NRG Stadium. It's Thursday, and the Texans got some good news on the injury front. Not unexpected good news, but good news nonetheless. Nico Collins, as we reported, was going to eventually pass the NFL concussion protocol. He officially did so today, and I was able to ask him some questions about what he went through, the hard hit he took to the head against the Seattle Seahawks when he landed backwards on their artificial turf at Lumen Field, and he said he saw some flashes. He's over those symptoms now and officially passed. That means he passed the baseline NFL neurological exam and all of the requirements of the NFL concussion protocol. He was a full participant at practice, meaning that he did everything that any wide receiver would do at this stage of the, I would say the regular season, where practices are a little lesser than what they do during the preseason. But yes, for Nico Collins, absolutely good news. He's excited to have this matchup, and he wishes that Patrick Surtain was out there because he likes to compete against the best. But Surtain, of course, is out with a pectoral injury that will not require surgery. He's not going to injured reserve, but he will miss this game. So that depletes the Broncos. And, still no Dalton Schultz. And we'll see, does he practice some tomorrow? I wouldn't even rule out the possibility that he doesn't practice and then they have him play on Sunday. So this could be a true game time decision. We'll see how they go forward. He's experienced some shoulder pain. He's had some knee issues. Dalton Schultz has been playing through some things, but also playing very well. If he can't go, look at Harrison Bryant and look at a possibility of activating Jakob Johnson, who can also play the tight end position. And, of course, they have Dalton Keene, so I can see them having Dalton Keene elevated. So we'll see how they handle that with the 53-man roster and also the practice squad elevation. So a very interesting situation there. Doesn't look like they'll need to elevate a wide receiver. They had Jared Wayne up last week and he caught a couple of passes, did a good job. And so they probably don't need him at this point because Braxton Berrios has been practicing over the chest injury. And they also got Danica Autry and Dylan Horton back from missing a day with knee injuries. So they're very healthy, the Texans, heading into this game. And they're a slight favorite on the money line, just 1.5 points for the Texans. And overall, Broncos minus 118, Texans minus 102, and the over 39.5. So you can watch this game, of course, on Fox, or you can come to this game if you can get tickets. I do expect the Broncos to travel well because they always do, and the obviously need to do a good job of creating that home field advantage. The Broncos and organizations like them that are really dedicated, long-time fan bases, and especially when they're good, they're 6-2. We'll see how they do. The Broncos are 3-4-1 against the spread this year. Texans are 3-4 against the spread, and they're 1-1-1. The Broncos against the spread on the road in 2025. So Texans are 2-1 against the spread at home. And a little bit of just some odd stuff. Excuse me. Just a little congested here. But for the Texans, I really think it's more about not just Nico Collins, it's about the trenches. And I mean, what goes on at the line of scrimmage. So this is really strength against strength in terms of the Texans' pass rush. So we'll start there. Texans are, of course, the top-ranked scoring defense and the top-ranked overall defense in terms of yardage allowed. And the Broncos are the top pass protection team in the NFL, allowing only 8 sacks this year. So it's been pretty strong overall when you look at Denver and kind of what they've done from a protection standpoint. They have experienced tackles in Garrett Bowles, their left tackle, and Mike McGlinchey, the right tackle, previously with the 49ers. So they've done a nice job of stonewalling pass rushers. They haven't necessarily faced a tandem like Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., but nonetheless, they've done a good job, and it's respectable what they've done. So, just 8 sacks, and, that's allowed Bo Nix to have a lot of time to operate. He's passed for nearly 2,000 yards, 1,803. He's got 15 touchdowns. He's got 5 interceptions. And everything with him, pretty efficient, on time, and they run a fair amount of, RPO plays. They have some keepers. Sometimes he will run up the middle. And, of course, they can always just hand off to J.K. Dobbins, Cypress resident, 634 yards, 4 touchdowns, one of the leading rushers in the NFL. Their top receiver, still Cortland Sutton, and they've thrown it to him 56 times for 37 catches, 536 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he's well on pace for another 1,000-yard season. And he's from, of course, the home of Bluebell. So he's from New Braunfels, and he's somewhat local too. Great football player, played at SMU. They have used R.J. Harvey a lot on returns. They throw the ball to R.J. Harvey a little bit. Troy Franklin is one of their real deep threats, so they're excited about R.J. They won't have Marvin Mims. He is going to be out for this game. He is concussed, and so he will not make it back for this one. So that's some things. They throw it a little bit to Evan Ingram. He hasn't been as utilized as much as some tight ends, but still has 26 catches, 215 yards, and a touchdown. So someone the Texans will have to account for. But to stop their offense, they got to get a rush. How do you do that? And so that was one thing we talked about today with Matt Burke. We're asking a lot of questions about, how do the Texans stop a team that, has done such a good job of creating time, and they've been, really outstanding in that element. They're playing at a really high level. They're scoring a lot of points. They've shown an ability to come back when they're down, as they did against the New York Giants. They've got, some pretty good pieces, and so it's a definitely a big challenge. And I know there have been some comparisons between Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix. I think Bo is his own style, and probably a little bit faster than Baker Mayfield, but there may be a little bit of similarities. So in terms of inside rush lanes, they have to guard the A and B gaps, meaning between center and guard, and they just can't let him cut it up in there. That's something he likes to do. So pretty big challenge for the Texans against a good offensive line, and closing off, as Matt Burke, the Texans defense coordinator, calls it, escape lanes, particularly the inside of the part of the field. So they've scouted them pretty well, scouted Sean Payton, and they have a lot of rules, he called it, in terms of they can run almost anything out of any set that they're in. So they have to be aware of them using tempo. They use tempo a lot of times after big plays, so the Texans have to avoid allowing those big plays. Got to communicate. Sometimes Azeez Al-Shire will make the adjustments, and has a few defensive tricks up his sleeve. So he's the green dot, and they really like the way that he handles the play calling. So a bit of a chess match between Azeez Al-Shire, D'Amico Ryans, Matt Burke, against Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So it's a challenging game. They run quick game, they run boots, they run play action. There's drop back, there's gap schemes, there's outside zone read. They run trap plays. So it's a very sophisticated, in-depth playbook. So I like a lot of things that Denver does. In terms of pass pro, yes, they've had some continuity with the tackles. That helps. They want to get the ball out pretty quick. They will run the run pass option plays. They do boots. They do screens. They try to slow down rush with a lot of these different tools. And for the defensive line, you just can't get frustrated because, the football will be out very quickly, with the screen, the boot, the two-step and throw, or one-step and throw. So what Matt Burke's looking for is mental toughness from the guys and staying on the tracks and working on your get-off as far as, the moves that you're working, the pass rush repertoire, to not miss an opportunity when they do a drop-back play, which isn't all the time, to hit the quarterback. You just never know when that big play might happen. So for the Texans, like I said, it's a real chess match between the defense and this good offense. And so they've got to be able to muscle these guys a lot of scrimmage. They got to get off the blocks, and they've got to make a play. So it's I think, a great matchup for anyone that likes to watch the interior, to watch, like I say, the battle in the trenches. And that's where a lot of football games are decided. That's not just a cliche. It's a truism, because winning football does start at the line of scrimmage. You got to be tough in there. You got to be physical. You got to have a plan, and you got to be able to impose your will. So, looking at some of the things that the Texans will face offensively, they're up against an elite rush, as we've said. The Broncos lead the NFL in sacks, in pressures, in EPA. So that's tough, and they did well. But, for this game, as Nick Caley says, they got to be coordinated. They got to stay on the same page. They got to strain like hell, as he says, play within the timing of the offense. One thing that's helped them is the jumbo package with Blake Fisher. So they're using him as an extra offensive lineman. I don't think they're going to throw it to him, but it helps them to have more size on the field. And I think it's been a way to get something out of, too. Like a player they drafted in the second round out of Notre Dame, where he's an All-American. And so they've been trying to do things with core blocks, run blocking fundamentals, cutoff blocks, angle drive blocks, big part of their gap double teams, combo blocks. And we've seen them have some success running to the side. Normally it's right-handed. It's Blake Fisher. It's right tackle Titus Howard and right guard Ed Ingram. And, remember the touchdown run for Nick Chubb against the Baltimore Ravens? That was behind those guys' blocks. Of course, good blocks from the receivers, too, and Christian Kirk and Xavier Hutchinson. So that helps them. And they've had this kind of in their back pocket, the jumbo package, for a while, but they've worked on this, and I think it's been good. For Caley, as a play caller, to have Nico Collins back and Christian Kirk, and this is something I want to expand upon a little bit, they can now incorporate those guys, and for C.J. Stroud kind of take this next step, they want it to be where he's not forcing the football just to Nico Collins, which he wasn't before, but there was still a high level of targets. I think that tilted defensive coverages, but now just hit the open man. That's all he really has to do. Protect the football, and they got to get the ball out. So some of these plays are going to happen a little quicker. Talking about tempo, they do it faster. Because Nick Bonito, he's got 8 sacks. He's a nearly $100 million a year guy. He's coming. He's going to get after the ball, and they've got to make sure they get a hat on him and set up quickly, because Bonito can end plays very quickly. And so can Jonathan Cooper, has 6 sacks. They get a lot of power with Zach Allen, like Nick Caley was talking about. The D-line, for the Broncos, play with great energy. They're tough, physical, relentless, well-coached, very deep. They've got to, you got to buckle up. It's a 60-minute game, so they're really talented, really well-coached. So trying to replicate the success from the 49ers game and being specific about what they're doing, I think they've got to, work on the game plan, have their core running plays, core quick game, dropbacks, and they got to evolve. They got to add some game plan elements to keep the Broncos back on their heels. So situational football, a lot going on there. So they got to mix up some tendencies. They got to disguise some things. They're down, some depth at tight end. Harrison Bryant is the only, as I mentioned before, the only healthy tight end on the 53-man roster currently. So they're going to have to use a lot of these guys that play fullback or tight end. And it could even mean some British Brooks, see how they utilize him. I like what they did with him as a lead blocker this past game. So throwing at the Broncos, Riley Moss, not the same player that Patrick Surtain is, but no slouch. He's a good player. I know some people underestimate him, but he can play. So for the offensive line to kind of come back and replicate this, what they did, where they did allow 0 sacks against the San Francisco 49ers, who were obviously injury depleted. You got to keep the technique going. You got to keep the fundamentals going. That was one of the big topics we had today with Nick Caley. Seeing things from a protection standpoint, run game standpoint, same set of eyes. So, they're looking at it in terms of, trying to play much better. They have been in this position before where they were trying to get to a 500 record, and they couldn't do it. And this time, they can. They have a chance. It's a tough opponent. It reminds me a lot of the difficulty of the Seattle game. But, if they could be 4-4, and if they could beat the Jaguars 5-4, I think the wild card is very much realistic for the Texans. Lose this game or lose the Jaguars game, obviously we think it's kind of a given that they'll sweep the Titans. But lose these games, especially home games, and they become much more of a long shot to somehow get to the postseason. Not going to get too much into special teams today. We did talk with Frank Ross. Always good to talk with him, but nothing. Obviously they have to, return. Do a better job on returns, on kickoffs, on coverage of kickoffs. So that, despite having a good kick, they didn't cover it very well. So there was a long return. Texans overall, we had some conversations today, and some of it's fun talk, like with Tim Settle about Halloween candy and things like that. But it's very much a team that in talking with Tim, I thought one of the best things he had to say was they need to get in a punch early. They need to get in the fight and give them. He didn't say this, but kind of like in a fight, sometimes the person that gets a bloody nose or a black eye first, that's the person who's going to lose the fight. If we're talking about boxing or whatever, or UFC. So for the Texans, I think they definitely got to get off to a fast start and a physical start to be able to match wits and match the toughness of the Broncos. Can't say enough about how sound Denver is in the trenches, so the Texans have to match that and be better than them inside. So this is a real test of Texans defensive line, Texans linebackers, and on the other side, blocking these guys. So the offensive line, from left to right, Arion Tersary coming off his best statistical game of the season, the rookie left tackle, or the left guard rotation of Laken Tomlinson and Juice Scruggs, center Jake Andrews, right guard Ed Ingerman, right tackle Titus Howard, and extra tackle Blake Fisher. They got to play their best game of the season, and I think it doesn't get any tougher than what we're talking about with the Broncos. So kind of going through some of the personnel. Everybody knows about Nick Bonito. Everybody knows about what they've got in terms of Jonathan Cooper, who I think is a underrated player that's on pace for about 12 sacks of his own. So you look at their defense, and Zach Allen, like I say, he plays with power. Inside, DJ Jones, a good stout guy in the middle. John Franklin Myers, good rusher. And they can blitz with Dre Greenlaw. They can blitz with Alex Singleton, Justin Stranad, good special teamer and occasional defensive player. And looking at the secondary, Talanoa Hufanga is a good player, so they spent a lot of money on him. Brandon Jones, a couple years ago, leaving the Miami Dolphins. And so they'll have, I think overall, they have Jahdae Barron. They have some flexibility there with him because he plays nickel. He can also play outside. He's done that in the past. So we'll see. But the next man up is Chris Abrams-Drain. So we'll see how he does. And it's going to be an interesting matchup. They have a very good kicker in Will Lutz, who was the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. They can kick from long distance, so that's something they like to do. And like I said, on offense, this is a good offensive line. No household names, but Garrett Bowles, very respected left tackle. Left guard, Alex Pelzewski. Center Luke Wattenberg. Right guard, Quinn Moniers. He's the guy with the big gut that likes to have the shirt up and just let it all hang out. And he's got the mullet, and he's viewed as a tough guy. Mike McGlinchey, good big right tackle. A lot of height, a lot of long arms with him. Stout, definitely hard to push past. And this is a solid Broncos offense, and they've got the Sean Payton playbook and mojo going. So for the Texans, and tomorrow morning is when they'll be back here. We'll see if they're inside the stadium. I kind of think they will be. They've done that before when they have home games. So we'll see if we're back in the stadium like last week. And we'll be looking for Dalton Schultz. We know that Nico Collins and Christian Kirk will be out there. So the big injury question is Schultz. I don't think they're going to rule him out. I think he's going to be questionable in the injury report. I don't think they're necessarily going to know the answer if Dalton's definitely going or not tomorrow. Just kind of feel like this is kind of touch and go. See how it goes over the weekend. And guys, appreciate everybody that watches, likes, and subscribes to the channel. Of course, we also have a membership club. Encourage anybody that wants to look into the membership club. That helps support the channel. Really appreciate that. And like I said, it's season's long season, and it helps me. It helps everything that I'm doing to produce these videos, to be at everything that the Texans are doing in terms of road games. You may have noticed I cover every road game, wherever they are, whether or training camp, West Virginia, Detroit, all the things at Minnesota. So a lot of travel, more travel ahead. But definitely it helps to make that happen. So I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. We are the largest independent Texans dedicated YouTube channel. So proud of the growth that's happened in just 1 year and 2 weeks. So 1 year and 2 weeks and some change. And I think that the channel will get to 20,000 and we'll just continue to grow and grow and grow. I want to see where I can take this. Like all the comments, that guys, you make some really good points. A lot of smart football fans out there, and appreciate you guys dropping the comments. So yeah, let's hear from you guys. It is Halloween tomorrow, so maybe there might be some talk about favorite Halloween candies, things like that. I've got some videos from the players. Might put something together like that. We'll see. I've got some decent material on that one. Have a fun one. It's okay to have some fun. Also posted a video about Danielle Hunter. And for those of you that don't know, Danielle was born in St. Catherine, Jamaica, and then moved here to the United States when he was 8 years old. The family settled in Katy, and he went on to Morton Ranch High School. He's worried about some family members they haven't been able to account for because of communication lines being down. Jamaica was hit hard by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. So yeah, anybody that wants to get involved, there's a link in my latest article at KPRC2 about Danielle and his thoughts. And he says Jamaica will rebuild and come back stronger than ever. But yeah, tough times in Jamaica, which was hit with a deadly storm, and the devastation of what they've suffered is extreme. So yeah, just some thoughts about Danielle Hunter and his homeland. That's where he's from. That's near and dear to his heart. The island of Jamaica and, of course, the whole Caribbean hit very hard, but a direct hit from that Category 5, unprecedented. And so, yeah, just a tough time for everyone there. Other things going on. So, I'll have on Sunday the Ring of Honor induction of Janice McNair, the Texans co-founder, and the wife of the late founder of the Texans and owner, Bob McNair. So, a real proud moment for the family. They're looking forward to that. And a lot of Texans legends will be on hand, including Brian Cushing. Brian's going to be the rep and H-Town captain, so yeah, always good to see Cush. He'll be back in the building, so yeah, if everybody played with the intensity of Brian Cushing, they'd win a heck of a lot of games. But yeah, he was of the linebackers I've covered, which have included Ray Lewis and Bart Scott and Cush. He's right up there as far as a tough guy, hard hitter. And yeah, lots of fun to play, a lot of fun to cover, and a smart player. But yeah, Brian Cushing in the house. And of course, J.J. Watt in the house too. J.J. Watt is calling this game, and this is his first time calling a game here, since I think, yeah, this is it. This is the first time. Let me look this up here. I had my notes, so I wanted to pull this up. My bad, not this time. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Sorry about that. False start. Texans, Jaguars. Of course, this game is on Fox, but CBS, when he's been assigned to that game. So, he did the Ravens game, but this is going to be his first time. And so, of course, he's a Ring of Honor member as well, along with Andre Johnson, the late Bob McNair, and now soon to be Janice McNair. So it'll be cool to have JJ back in the building. And JJ does keep a close eye on the Texans and kind of good pulse of what's going on with his former team. All right, guys, I'm actually going to sign off now, but thanks so much, and appreciate you guys tuning in. Look forward to our next conversation on Friday. We'll break it all down, some key matchups, and we'll go through all break it down some more. But yeah, today, a focus on the trenches. Talk to you guys soon. How does it feel to be cleared from the concussion protocol? How are you feeling now?
Man, I feel great. Blessed to be off the protocol. Feeling good, man. Excited about this week. Great matchup. Denver coming in. Great team, man. I'm excited to be back, though.
Did you have some pretty bad symptoms? What were some things you experienced with this concussion?
Oh, yeah, I did. I hit my head hard, just regular head, hitting the ground hard, just seeing just little flashes, whatever, just what it is, But I'm all good now, that's all that matters, and ready to play this week.
A lot of people have been talking about how now that you're back and Christian Kirk is back, with the really guys stepping up while you were out, that this offense can become a little more all around. How do you see that?
Yeah, the same, man. Great, man. Everybody stepping up, which is a great thing. That's what you want as a team. When your number's called, you want to go out and operate and go step up and make plays, man. I'm glad to see my boys out there making plays, the entire team, man, both sides of the ball. One guy missed, but you got to continue to go, So glad I'm seeing everybody, feel good. getting their groove, get ready for the matchup in Denver.
We know what you can do. Do you get fired up watching the young guys kind of emerge a little bit?
Man, for sure. I feel like there's no better feeling than seeing your teammates, your brothers go out there, do what they love, make plays, celebrate, laughing. That's the point of it, you know what I'm saying? It's the same game you play your entire life, man. But seeing the boys go out there as fans, man, it's just a great feeling, for sure.
Nico.
I mean, it is what it is, I wish nobody missed a game, I just wish speed recovery with him, man, with his pec, whatever he got going on, issues, But, definitely, it was going to be a great matchup, always good on good, and that's what you want, and that's the point of this league, you're going to go against guys like that, all pro corners, so, man, it sucks that he's not out there, man, but speed recovery on his end, for sure.
Yeah, so Mario Luigi.
How so?
Well, when I was in college, my roommate was tall. He was taller than me. Luigi's taller than Mario. But I was like the big mushroom, like Mario. So.
Top 3 candies for you?
I like if anybody giving out the little hamburger, little candies, the little concession stand candies, the ones that got the hot dogs, hamburgers, the pizzas. I'm grabbing every one of them that's in there. I like hot chews. I like almond joy. I don't know, it's fucking weird. It's weird. I like almond joy. I don't know why. It might be the coconut. And the last one, the berry pack Hubu gummy bears. I don't know if I said it right. The little gummy bears, the little purple pack. It don't got none of the bad flavors in there. All berries.
Who's your son going to be for Halloween?
But I don't even know. He FaceTimed me yesterday. He showed me this outfit. And he had like a little knife with fake blood on it. And he told me what it was. I don't remember. I was just laughing because he was flicking the knife up and down. I'm like, we didn't teach him that. We didn't teach him a knife etiquette yet. So let's hope that he doesn't do anything that he's not supposed to with a little toy knife.
Tim, what do you got to do to make this a bad Halloween weekend for the Broncos?
Just do what we do best. Play football, swarm, minimize his quarterback, and just move the ball on offense.
I know you guys as a defensive line want to set the tone every week. Why is that so vital with a Denver group on offense that's so varied in ways they can hurt you?
I feel like it's not even about them. Okay. It's more about us. It's like us. If you come out in a fight and you throw a punch first, they gotta react. They gotta throw a punch back. So I think we don't want to get punched first anymore. So it's shoot. Let the games begin. We're gonna play good football. We know it's a good football team. We know that they capitalize and getting after the QBs and they lead the league in sacks right now. But we're looking past that. We know that's a good team and a good defense, but we think we got a better defense. So.
Tim, they've only allowed 8 sacks. What about their offensive line and the way they run their offense makes it tougher to get to the quarterback?
I feel like they got a variety of everything. So I feel like they're good at running a lot of everything. So keeping teams honest, as far as their schemes and just what they do, they can run everything out of any personnel. Just make sure we're on our keys and just executing what we need to execute.
Bert told us the importance